Welcome to MPA Feedback stream number 13. I am the guild leader. Today with us we have Blayhub and Radium.
Hello.
Hi.
This is the stream we do each Friday where we take submissions from the community and we share our feedback to help you gain new perspectives on your music. If you'd like to have your track on stream, look for the featured post in the community and submit it and tune back in next Friday, same time. Also, every Monday we do producer battles, same time, so tune into those too. We're going to keep news and everything kind of short today because I think we've got more entries than normal. So that being said, like, comment, and subscribe on our channels, and I'll pass this over to Blayhub.
Yeah. All right. So basically what happened last week, we had, I think, 10 submissions. So what happened, we only made it through the first 6 or so. So now we have 4 submissions from last week. We got one resubmission by Granddad GotMojo because he accidentally submitted the wrong thing, which ended up being a 19-minute long, like a collective kind of thing. But actually he meant to submit something else. So we're going to play that first. Then we have Kodomo Cat, Rubaren, and Miro, Lutz, and then we'll get into the submissions from today. We got a lot of submissions again, so right now we actually got 12 submissions in total. This is a bit messed up, but we promised last week to do those 4 tracks on the stream today. So from now on, what we're going to do, if people don't make it on stream, they won't make it automatically to next week's stream, so I'll just have to resubmit. Because that's only fair, but it happened now. We want to be fair to the people that we promised this to, so today we'll try to get through as many as possible, but I think we'll probably do 6 or 7 submissions in total again, because that's usually what we sort of manage. Yeah, but anyway,
it makes sense too.
Yeah.
And it's similar to other feedback streams you'd find on YouTube where they have so many submissions that it's not even possible for them. So that's all they do. They just randomly pick people like through their Twitter or their whatever it is, and sometimes they do it day of. So we are trying to.
And they don't play the tracks in full.
They don't play the tracks in full, and they usually only just got one person giving feedback. So we actually definitely got a unique twist on this, and we try to keep it that way. And we try to go deeper and stuff like that. So.
All right.
But we appreciate feedback from y'all about how we're doing it all the time too. So let us know.
You can give us feedback too. And of course, we encourage all of you to keep typing in the live chat and give people your own feedback or talk about the music itself, because that's always nice for people to see sort of a response by the community. So, all right, let's get to the first track, which is going to be Just Shake Your by Granddad GotMojo. This is GotMojo. This is from last week. Have fun.
shake it. Just shake your ass, just shake it. Just shake your ass, just shake your ass, just shake your ass, just shake it.
All right, that was Just Shake Your by Granddad GotMojo. That was really nice and really interesting. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. It was nice and interesting. I
Don't
mean, I
say
liked
it
it.
like
that.
that.
No. What I'm saying is, it was both. Like, I would say that it was a very nice track. I enjoyed it, and it was actually very interesting with all the different samples and stuff. So no, I agree. It was nice and interesting. But I would say a couple things that threw me off. Just to start out with like the little negative things. It was like there was a couple elements, and then we all kind of pointed it out. There was like a little synth like riser thing that I thought was like a feedback thing for a second, coming in through like Discord or something. Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And then Radium asked me if she was the only one here, and I was like, no, I hear it too. So we realized it's part of the track. I mean,
that part's a bit too loud.
Like
I think it's fine. The sound itself is fine.
Yeah.
Though it's a bit too loud.
Too loud. It was just mixed wrong. And then other than that, so I was just gonna point that out because that was the only thing that like threw me for a loop. The rest of it was like, I love the way all the loops ended up working together. It wasn't your traditional way of like all the samples sounded like they were just like right on top of each other, like all together. It was just like everything was in their own space, in their own time almost, but like on time still. But it had this really cool like spatial effect with this really cool choppy effect that was going on the whole time, and I think it was due to one of the samples you were using the whole time, the way you were chopping it in or whatever. It just gave the whole track this neat texture, like, and a groove because of the choppiness. I don't know. I really enjoyed the track. It was just super interesting. And then on top of that, I loved all the lead improv kind of styles, like the sax and the guitar and everything. That just, kept it interesting the entire time for sure.
Yeah. I saw Radium's mic on for a second. I don't know if she wanted to say something right now.
No, I'm not done typing.
Okay. I'm gonna go first and or second. I really like this. This had such a unique feel to it. Like Like, wow, that's something I feel like I'm gonna recognize. Like every time I hear even just a short like section of it. Yeah, really, really nice work. Really well done, in my opinion. Um, really, the only issues I have with it are these few things um, um, that we already mentioned. That one loud sound, that was a bit weird. You know, the sound itself was fine, just a bit too loud. We already said that. We already covered that. No, no. I wanna say I love how you used the samples. I think first of all, I'm not sure which parts are sampled and which are from you. Obviously, the solos there by you or Music Oasis. I don't know if that's Granddad or
Music Oasis.
if they were
I-
working together.
This is definitely his track. I think it's a little like one of his little like community project kind of things.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
ask him
but I
about
just
it.
want to say, that the saxophone was really nice. Had a really nice sound to it. I loved the solo. All of the solos. Love the guitar. I love the oh, what was it? Oh, okay, just lost the thought. Anyway, yeah, just lost my thought completely. Just
Oh,
lost
no,
my
you're
train of thought completely.
fine. No
uh,
worries. All around, like though, I would say that it was a cool submission for sure. Granddad, I don't think you're in the chat right now. I know you're usually here, but you can always replay this. I'll let you
I'm
know
confused.
that.
I think Music Oasis is Granddad.
Yeah, it is, and I think.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Wait.
he's
I
in
see what
chat.
you're
He's
saying.
in
That
chat.
makes sense. Just now looking over there now. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Music Oasis. And Granddad, what is Music Oasis? Is that like your company or personal company, or what is that? Because I mean, is that where you sell your samples and loop packs through, or what? Just curious. We're killing time while Radium types her thing. She said she's gonna
Yeah.
unmute her mic when she's ready, so we're like glancing at her little mic over here. But yeah, for sure.
It's
I
a
do
team
know for
project.
those that are
Okay.
okay, cool. It's a team project. Yeah, I do know that Granddad has mentioned to me that he does make loop packs and sample packs and stuff too. So a lot of these
Right.
probably come from his own libraries.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, really awesome. I really liked it. It's
This is
like I said,
team
it's
project.
super unique. It
Uh huh.
has so much style. I don't know what kind of genre that is. If it even can be classified so easily. It's super unique. I really like
It
it.
definitely leans
All
on
the
like
rhythms, yeah.
traditional house music where they would just like
Right.
put a
Right.
lot of samples and stuff and soulful samples and samples from records and stuff on top
Yeah.
of a
Yeah.
good house beat or whatever.
Okay,
It has
but it has
reminiscence
these
of
like
that.
really like jazzy elements in it as well. And then there's
For
this
sure.
uh some of the percussion elements definitely were from more what's it called? Um yeah, I'm totally brain dead today. Uh but no, it's a really interesting mix of many different genres and styles and ideas, I think.
Hmm.
Um
For
Indie
sure. That's what I got
jazz?
from
I don't know. Maybe?
it
It's
could
a really
it might end up
interesting
on a playlist.
mix of things and there's it's just so much going on. Um I loved the yeah, like you said, the choppiness of the samples, uh,
Hmm.
the overall feel. It felt like hot, like warm and hot. Like I was imagining like some like tropical beach, sort of like at sunset, like golden hour kind of
Hmm.
lighting with fire and like palm trees and whatever. Like sort of like felt so taken into another world by it.
Right.
I can't even
Um,
really put my finger on it. That would be really awesome.
No, and for those that haven't heard other tracks by Granddad GotMojo, he got a really great style. I mean, not all his tracks are the same, but they do kind of start. You definitely get that he's the Granddad. You got like, I mean, you know how to play instruments, and you got a wider, experience with genres of music. So you're mashing so much together, but to you, it seems like it almost just comes like almost like second nature to each one. You're like, oh, I'll throw this together, this together, this together, and it just works. When a lot of other producers, they'd be like completely like out of their realm to even try something like that, and it would be too challenging. But to you just seem to make everything you like. Oh, you just seem to make the samples play together very nice.
Yeah.
All right, Radium.
Yeah,
I'm
Radium.
I'm gonna motivate you to just read your half type.
Wait. One sentence. Just one sentence. Wait.
Okay. Do you have to write it out?
Yeah.
Cool. So, all right, while we wait.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Here she goes.
Shut up, Gil.
Yeah, for people in the chat who are so confused, I am writing down my stuff so I don't lose my train of thought when I talk. So here's my feedback. Overall, if I had to give your track a rating, I'd give it a fair 3 out of 5. Your track was like a roller coaster where the designer got bored near the end and said just add a few little bumps at the end. It starts with strength and with a form of randomness that still manages to work together and add a form of rhythm and melody that gives the song a taste and a texture that I think is very unique. I was very enticed and impressed at the beginning of the song. My exotic ass was already thinking of someone dancing to it, partying to it, enjoying it. Because to me, this track exudes a vibe that many people can find appealing, whether you want to listen to music or just dance or whatever. Like this track is gonna give it to you at the beginning.
Yeah.
I like how the chops created both rhythm and melody. I like the moments where the track had different instruments that on their own they would clash, but you still managed to produce them so they were just what's my sentence? Where they were
You
just
wrote it
like
down.
working together. And I like the improvisation. It was nice for that, and because of all these elements, it was strong. Now for the bad, I think your track lost its momentum and strength near the middle and the end. Like I said earlier, it's like a roller coaster, and it starts super strong, and there's loops and big bumps, and everyone on the ride is just screaming, like it's exciting. But then near it dies, it gradually starts dying, and it ends up being bland and very lukewarm. And there's like one bump randomly that you barely notice. And as you get off this ride, you're just disappointing and you're confused. You're like, okay, well, what happened? It started off so strong. Like, what happened? And I think because of that, it's really disappointing. You mentioned in the notes of the submission that you wanted to explore the Middle Eastern style of music. I think you did it at the beginning, but then you lost that vibe, and as you lost that inspiration, the track also lost its energy and its soul. I think it would have been wiser to keep that vibe and that energy and inspiration throughout the song, even if the arrangement or some instruments changed. So,
Right.
side note, I don't know what that feedback thing is, but remove it. For the love of everything, remove it. I need my ears and my eardrums to work properly.
Oh, the feedback
Tape
noise.
I have right now is irritating. I mean, the
It was almost
earache
like
is
it
gone now, but it was there.
Yeah.
So that was it for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's I think it's something for a lot of people, for both people that just want to like enjoy and like dance and whatever, and also for people that want to listen to something really interesting. And I can also see where you're coming from with it sort of getting weaker at certain
It was almost two
points,
songs.
certain
You know, we got
moments.
to that.
Yeah, but that's how I feel about it. To me, it seems like two songs, two tracks.
Yeah.
Well, actually, multiple tracks, not just two. Maybe
It was
a
kinda-
couple of more, but
It was almost a montage. It was really nice. It almost had that live effect. I think Arquette
Yeah.
even mentioned that he thought it had a live feel, which lends itself to kind of like blend itself into like a kind of a whole new song, but at the same time, like the listener, like as Radium was saying, by the end of the song, it's no longer the same vibe they had from the beginning of the song. So for some
Yeah.
people, that might be like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So
Yeah.
shall
Yeah.
we move on to the next? I
Yeah,
think that was,
let's
very
move
good.
on.
Very good job,
Yes.
Granddad.
Yeah, very good job. I love that. I love that a lot. All right. Next track is going to be. Oh yes. Everyone by Kodomo Cat. Have fun.
Every
All right, that was Everyone by Kodomo Cat. Yeah, that was really nice. I thought harmonically it was really solid, interesting. Didn't go too far off the comfort zone, but this was really, let's say, what's a good word? It was very, it fit together. It was what I'd say a good word, probably a solid track that felt like it was sort of had what you'd expect from it to have, if you get what I mean. I think first of all, the Vocaloid sounds, they can be so terrible and so annoying. And at first, I got a bit scared, like, ooh. But you really took that to your advantage, that sound. I think this wouldn't work that well with a real singer. I don't think it would work that well with someone actually singing it. Because you played with the effects of the software, and I think even intentionally modified some automations or parts about it. I've never used Vocaloid, but it seemed to me that from how it sounded that you did modify a couple of things intentionally to make them sound as they did.
Right.
Yeah, really, really nice. I loved that. I loved that fast vocal section. That part there.
Right, yeah.
I love that. Love that.
That was the part I was
The
thinking of
harmony,
too,
yeah, the melody in that is super nice. The harmony is really awesome. I loved where you went there. That's probably one thing I'm gonna say about the harmony, because it was really nice. You did a lot there. But I think somewhere around the middle part, after you sort of like go in like a repeat, I think you could go into like a maybe just a short, even more dramatic section. But you know, that might just not have been what you have intended for it. So that's just me thinking, what else could you explore with this? The other thing I did not like, but what I think you could add a bit of texture, add a bit of momentum in certain parts, or take some of the more lengthy sections out. I think you could do more with the drums, with the beat in the background, which it's nice. This pushing, sort of moving you forward kind of thing. It's super nice with that with those like sort of synthesized electronic cymbals and whatnot. You know, like really pushing you. But I think this would have been really nice if you worked in more interesting patterns, sort of breaking up the steady momentum every now and then. Not even break it up, but add to it. You know, I think that would make certain more lengthy sections a bit more interesting. Just something I do, which obviously again could something you've just not intended to do, but I think that's something to think about as making that a bit more interesting. But other than that, really liked it. Warm feel, kind of like a familiar feel to it. Really nice. Liked it a lot. Yeah, but those couple of suggestions, I think, might just be the last missing, like, I don't know, like a couple of sprinkles on top of the icing, you know.
I love your analogies. Okay, like for real, I also really enjoyed this track. It was and kind of to your point, what you were saying to start out with, it fits the genre that it's trying to be in very well. It has all the right elements to be. I'm not going to be able to. I know this is one of those kawaii happy, like I don't know what genre it exactly fits into, but it you know, a more modern kind of version of like this happier EDM stuff that I really am into. But what I liked about this track, other than so the Vocaloid thing, yes, it was really cool. I also am sometimes scared of what Vocaloid's going to sound like when people don't, especially when they don't know what to do with it and they just start just anything goes, which is not the way to use Vocaloid. You really got to fine tune each word to make them like pleasing to, and they like sound like a similar to someone really singing and not just like a bunch of random words like back to back. I don't know. I've had a difficult time with Vocaloid. I never got anything as good as what you had here with your vocal track. I mean, you had a really cool thing, but it wasn't just about that. It was actually the melody of the vocals, the texture of the vocals, like the. I know you use like when you use Vocaloid, you use like different singers you could choose from or whatever, or like and so whatever character, however you call it, you chose. I mean, it's a really good one. And I don't know if you can make your own or what, but I just love the sound design of the actual Vocaloid itself.
Yeah.
It was really good. And then as Blake was saying, those little parts, it would like had like this little like it was almost like a slide or almost like a little like the vocal would do like this little slide at the very end of like one of the notes or what like pitch up or whatever.
Yeah, I love the melody and the harmony in that section.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very emotional track too. The vocals and the all the support.
I didn't understand a thing. Wait, did you understand the lyrics?
No. Emotional harmonies.
Yeah.
I actually usually don't listen to lyrics at all, but unless they're just like right there in your face. Now to that point, like
it had a sort of like
I could understand the words. I just wasn't paying attention. Like some of the words, no, I couldn't understand them, but it did seem like it wasn't just like garble. It was something. So I mean, forgive me for not really paying attention to the words. To your point though, how it could have used like something to break up, because it was like this constant momentum, and it was actually like building up over time actually, because it kept getting faster, or not necessarily faster, but it was doubling time. Like the arpeggio would get doubled, or maybe another little thing would do a little twice as fast. So it wasn't speeding up as much as it was just like gaining energy from different things, but there was nothing framing the section. So it was just next part of the song until it was over, which it worked because like the melody was so pleasing that like kept coming back, and like the leads and the things, it did change up throughout the song, but there was no like framing. What I consider like framing being is where it's almost like that real quick break, a quick breather. Sometimes it's just a bar, no joke, or a 4-bar or whatever, 2-bar. It's just like and then a little second to kind of like rest your ears, and then it builds back up again. Instead of just into the next, all the way to the end of the song, you can, give the listener a bit of context, like framing context by saying, okay, here comes, pause from that, here comes the next section. All right, now let's stop from that, and there goes the next section. It's very common in pop music and stuff like that. But that being said, I really, really, really liked your song, so good job. Kodomo Cat. We're just waiting on Radium here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to say that while it was definitely, I'd say sort of, I wouldn't say predictable, expected. I expected things where it went. Then there were some surprises in there, which were really nice. But as for it sort of fitting into the sort of fitting in with other music, I think it really is not so standard. So this is sort of I'm not sure if there's other music that's just like this, but to me it felt relatively unique while still it was sort of went where I'd expect it to go, which isn't like a negative thing necessarily. You don't have to confuse the listener all the time to make something
right. Sometimes
good,
you can go too
interesting.
far. Sometimes you can go too far with that for sure. But it's almost like that. Right. It's almost like that knowing just the right amount of confusion and when to do it is all you need. You don't need to confuse them the whole time. It's more just like take them in a different direction than they thought they were going to go in, and then and then end the song. It's just like a couple neat surprises and
I mean, so the longer sections, they did have sort of basic harmony and like ideas in the melodies and also the sound design, which is something I'm pretty sure I heard in that sort of. I think I heard some of these ideas before, which not saying that you stole them or anything. It's just something a lot of people would think of, but then you have these moments where it is completely different and where again it sticks out, and it's something I would never mistake with anything else, probably, you know. So again, you've got that going for you. Maybe that's something to consider though, if maybe you want to, not all the time, but if you want to introduce more parts that make it stand out, even if I imagine that you tuned into that in the radio and you were just in one of those sections where there's no vocaloid thing and there isn't that much going on with the harmony, maybe those sections I'd be like, oh, maybe this is the one thing I heard before at some point, or maybe I'd be like, oh, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of not boring, but
You know.
I want to listen to something more interesting right now, you know? Maybe that's where having a bit more interesting things going on in the percussion, in the drums, could maybe help with that in those more lengthy sections, you know?
Right.
I don't know. Anyway,
Oh,
Radium.
for sure. Radium is here with us.
Yes, Radium.
Yes, I am.
Nice.
I'm gonna start by saying, who hurt the singer? Singer, who hurt you, baby? Because the vocals, they were just not hit at all. I know Vocaloid, I enjoy Vocaloid, but that's just a big no. And I don't know if it's the quality of the recording and the singer's vocals, if it's like someone singing and then applying like a Vocaloid plugin on it, or if it's something else. But like, I don't know, double check. Like something was wrong with the vocals, in my opinion, and it really takes you out of the song, especially since the vocals were used as a very important part in the structure of the song. It really doesn't work. I don't know if there were moments where I thought, oh Lord, this one, I'm sure this went off key at some point during the production. Oh, that it's trying to catch with the rhythm. I didn't like the vocals at all. Moving on. I guess describing a track as 8-bit on speed is probably appropriate. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the vibe that I got from listening. The choice of instrumentation for the genre you're making is good. The melody was interesting to listen to. Would you find this on my playlist? No. But you know, good job. Now the bad.
Oh, that
It's
was the good
something,
part.
yeah,
Okay, for
It's-
sure.
it's something that is very common. It's stop laughing. I'm gonna laugh. Okay.
Sorry.
I think it's something that's common in songs are more under the umbrella term of EDM, and you're not the only one who quote unquote suffers from it. I think to an extent we all do. Like it's not necessarily bad, don't get me wrong. It doesn't end up making your song something, you know, to trash and spit on and get rid of. I think it's just a variable that I noticed producer doesn't see, but the listener does. Especially when if the listener isn't a fan of the genre. Like I think as a listener, you're gonna hear it, and it's like your track is like a bubble child right now. It's a track where you know no risks were taken. It follows the template, even the melody. I mean, it's your melody, but it's like a common melody. You know, in the rhythm and the arrangement, like there's no surprise. It goes where you know it's gonna go because everyone has done it that way, and many people still do it that way. So there's no
Yeah.
surprise.
You expect it.
And
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Like it's gonna do that. Oh, it did it. It's gonna do that. Oh, it did it. That's really the vibe that I'm getting from listening to the track. And as I was listening, you know, your instrumentation, the instruments you chose, the rhythm and stuff like that. I think it's time for you to take chances and experience new things with your music gradually. I think you're at that level where you can take those risks and you can try to make tracks unique to you. Like it won't be perfect on the first try, but in the long run, I think it'll be useful for your music and whatever you want to express from it. Um, Avoiding following the template, as I say, some people don't care, but I think in the long run, it can be useful, and it can make you a better producer. Or you know, don't if you don't want to. If you're fine with what you're doing, that's all you. But this is what I would like recommend. And fixing whatever those vocals were supposed to be, because they missed the mark, in my opinion.
Yeah, being a little bit more
Yeah.
experimental
I-
is definitely how you push the genre forward too. If
Yeah.
you're that you
Yeah.
want to be that kind of pioneer for your genre, or just some
Yeah.
people just like to do that cookie cutter thing to say, hey, look, I did my version of that. Here it is.
Right. No, I
I
agree
like
though.
that.
I agree though. It's very expected where you're going, Kodomo. But I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think looking at it from who you are, maybe this is a sign of time to move on sort of thing. But there were these moments that I did not necessarily expect them to be the way you ended up doing them. So they were still in the place where I'd expect them to be, but they didn't do exactly what I thought they would do, which is really nice. But then again, it's these lengthy sections in the middle of that. Basically, the sections in the middle of the vocaloid things that were super predictable. Where again, I think if you did more with the percussion, I mean, you could do more with the harmony. Like I said, I can totally see the second time you go into that middle section, you know. I think that's something where I'd go into a more serious tone and a more dramatic tone, you know, because the vocals sort of the vocaloid thing sort of hints at that. You have that one moment where it sort of hints at it going into that complete mood shift. So I think that's something you should maybe explore. Maybe with this one, maybe with the next track, probably with the next track, but yeah, it's as Radium said, as I said, it's sort of things you expect. They sort of work within this common idea. Try to make something different, but it's also fine if it's not always a complete mindfuck, you know. But yeah.
Nice. All right, so I'm thinking. I'm just gonna say let's go ahead and move on because I think the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it the? Okay, let's go. Very good. Knight, thanks for sharing that with us, and
Yes.
I think it's pretty solid track all around.
Yeah.
So cool.
Right. The next track is going to be 18 by Rubaren, or I'll stick with that. I'm not gonna mispronounce the name again. 18 Rubaren. I just did it again. Here we go. Have fun. All right, that was 18 by Rubaren. Rubaren. All right. Do you wanna talk first, Guild, or should I?
All right.
What do you want to do?
I'll say. I mean, it was a very interesting track in the terms that I didn't know what was going to happen the whole time. I kept going. Interesting can mean many things, so it's kind of like my way of just saying interesting. It's like interesting in a good way or a bad way. I don't know. I'd say honestly, I didn't know what to expect the whole time. I kept thinking something was going to come in, and towards the end, I kind of realized like what really would have just made this different is just a whole bunch more percussion. Like, I mean, really groovy percussions, even like just you could have really just everything would have had more groove, and everything would have probably tied together a little bit more if there was just the full on like drum track and even more like some hand drums. Just like a lot of percussion would have really tied this all together for me. It seemed like that was missing. I'll read his notes here. Wait, are these the notes from him?
The notes were...
I haven't...
Yeah.
Right. It says, I haven't finished this song yet, but I could use some critical feedback. So it's not finished yet. I would say the critical feedback would basically just... It needs a lot... The rhythm and the groove, instead of coming from just like the syncopated bass line and like all the other elements, it should... You could really build like more of a solid backbone of the drums. I know there was some stuff going on there, but I think make it more of a percussive track. It's kind of my first idea with this as far as critical feedback. I don't know. What do you think, Blaine?
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, I want to get to the positive things first. First of all, I like how it started. I loved when it went into that really simplistic beat. You know, that really simple with the clave thing, whatever it's called. I loved that section. I loved where it went, but then it sort of just, I was expecting it to go somewhere, but it just stayed the same, and that's a bit sad because you could have like really. It's a really interesting start. It's something I listened to it and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. Where's this going? Ooh, and it's sort of just. I mean, it's obviously it's a work in progress. So, but right now I don't really, I don't see the track. I don't see the track yet. To me, this is like a opening, to something, but we didn't hear that something yet. So, I think it's a bit difficult for me to really give a lot of feedback on this in terms of the music itself, because it didn't seem like there was all that much music going on yet. So in terms of like melody, you had that repeating thing, which is fine, it's but you should do something with that. You should go somewhere else. You should keep telling the story, explore more of it, because right now we're just sort of waiting for it to do something, sort of thinking of like a boss fight in a game and get to the big end game boss, and it's the music sort of starts building up, sort of, and the thing comes out, and you're getting ready for the battle, and then just stands there, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you. Oh, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna rip you apart, and then it ends, and nothing happens. It's like it's like I said, just the start, and then it ends, and the rest is missing. So this is like an empty canvas. You have some ideas, you have some, you have a sort of direction, but now you need to take this and do something with it. So. Add the music. In terms of suggestions of the technical side of things, obviously with this being a work in progress, there isn't that much mixing or mastering been going on yet. The loud bass boom thing that you had in between, like sort of section, in between sort of section things, that's what I'd call a speaker blower. Because if you listen to that on like a subwoofer or something, it's gonna die, Like if you have the volume sort of cranked up, because this thing is just way too loud, and it's such a frequency that it's gonna mess with everything, So it could actually damage people's systems, I believe, if they have turned it up a bit too loud. But this is something that you try to push as loud as you can, because you may be mixing on headphones and it doesn't seem so bassy as you want it to be, but that's obviously because those small membranes don't really have all that much power behind them, so they can't really generate those bassy frequencies that well. So when you then listen to them on like a bigger system that has a subwoofer, it's gonna die. You know, not that it's gonna blow up unless it's kind of old. It might actually just do that. You know, but it's not gonna be pleasant. So it's way too loud for that. So you need to improve the mixing, the mastering, and always be careful with the sort of stuff. Always do visual checks as well. So don't just trust your ears and your basically your tools that you use for listening, so your headphones, your monitors, whatever. But also use your eyes. So get software, analyzing software for analyzing the frequencies and analyzing the Lutz meters and stuff. You know, just keep control of everything on a technical point, and then sort of, or however you like it, do the creative stuff first, whatever, but always try to basically be compliant with these mastering standards that are out there, because then first of all you're going to have a much better time releasing it, because then platforms for digital releases, they're not going to mess with it, you know, because they'll compress the hell out of this sort of thing, you know, or limit it. I mean, we turned it down to we're only listening to 28% of the volume it would have had, you know. If we let it just play like that, YouTube would have messed with it, you know, added compression and limiting stuff like that, you know. So you wanna be compliant with these things. You want to read up about this sort of stuff. It's boring and annoying and technical and you know, but it's really important because at the end of the day, it might mess with your creative decisions you made, you know. So don't try to push things super loud. Read about true peak, read about Lutz meters, stuff like that, and you sort of get an idea of what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is just like a work in progress. It needs a bit of work, but I think there's some nice ideas there that you could do a lot with. It's just you got to do something with it, you know. It's like it's a blank canvas. Do something with it. Radium.
All right. It's gonna be short. That drop at the beginning was a bit disappointing, only because I felt like the sounds that came after the drop didn't work. Like you start with this very intense and high pitch riser, and then the sound design is that comes after the drop is like very low sounds and a very naked beginning of a basic melody. It's like watching a cartoon where the entire time the bad guy is described as terrifying and dangerous, and at the end, at the climax, it's a 3 feet tall plushie. Like, okay, I'm going back to bed. Then what the hell was that? That's the vibe that I get. I know the song is a draft and it's not finished, but just from what we have now, I fear that it's going towards a very classic average track that follows an internal template that is simple and easy to do. So I would avoid that, but at the same time, we don't have much to go with. So honestly, we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, like I don't have much. I don't have a lot of things to say. I feel like I'm reviewing a skeleton. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's sort of a blank canvas. There's some ideas, some concepts, but it's not worked out yet.
You got some sound design ideas there. You got some different like melody ideas. You got like even some creative mixing going on, maybe it just needs to be mixed down again. But yeah,
hard to judge, but
it. It's neat that it's not done yet.
You can do a lot with this. You can do a lot with this,
and that's my favorite time to get feedback on my tracks is when my track is not done. Like, I mean, just finishing a track and being all proud of it and then going asking for feedback can kind of be of a letdown, because whatever people say about it, you're like, well, I'm done, so I'm not going to go change that. It's done. And then forever after that, every time you hear your track, you're going to think of what they said. So I'm not a big fan of like just going out and asking for feedback on a track that I consider to be done. But when you ask for feedback on a track that you're working on, it's the best. It's the best because it gives you something to do in the studio. It's like, I love the studio, and I'm always looking for something to do in there. So when someone says, oh, your track, you know, this thing needs this fixed, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to the studio to do. I'm going to spend all night working on that, investigating, researching, and whatever it is, I'm going to fix it. But without me knowing that, you know, my tracks, sometimes I get kind of lost. But so for that, you know, to that point, you know, you submit your tracks as whips. Just let us know they're whips, and we'll give you that kind of different.
Also, I want to know something.
Yes.
I have a thing for titles. So does 18 have like a symbolic something? I'm curious about that. Or is it just 18 because it's track number 18? I'm curious about that.
Good question.
I don't
We're gonna
know.
find out. Like, there's actually.
That's what you got to tell us in the story of the piece.
Yes, challenge, Rubaren.
Yes.
Cool.
Give us a
Make
story.
it make sense.
The challenge is your song needs to make sense. No,
All right.
I like that. Maybe
Yeah.
it's maybe he made it on his 18th birthday. I don't know.
I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, shall we move on?
Yes.
All right.
Do that.
Okay, the next track is going to be, this is our final track from last week. We need to speed things up. Anyway, but obviously we're taking our time. We're listening to all of the submissions, all of the ones we can get to. But anyway, Fantastic Dream, a work in progress by Miro Lutz. Have fun. All right, that was Fantastic Dream, a work in progress by Miro Lutz. All right, what do you guys think? Who wants to talk first? Do you want to talk first, Gil? Should I talk first? What do you want to do?
If you give me a chance, I'll start talking. No, it's fine. Like, I don't mind if you start talking. I'll just wait for you, and if you want me to start, I'll go. I don't mind either way. I would definitely say that I love this track. I was ready to go. Fantastic Dreams, fantastic song. You say it's a work in progress, but if you would have told me this was complete, I'd basically say good job. You know, it sounds complete enough for me. Now, I mean, you could probably make the mix a little more, probably mix down again and make it a little bit more like you know, mainstream radio, like ready kind of mix quality maybe, but that's subjective because that could even take away from a lot of some sort of any kind of live feel that it still had. You won't want to take that away from it because it's such a nice track. But even outside of the mix and production and recording, just the all the instrumentation, like and the composition, the notes, and the way they all just,
Yeah.
it's just a great
Oh yeah,
song.
I should add the note he left us for this one is it's played and composed and arranged by him. So and it was
Right,
never
nice.
composed for strings. So I think it's just working those in basically. And I'd say they're probably the part that needs the most work still, but I'll get to that
Right.
when it's my turn.
Oh, I know for sure. By all means, you can jump in at any time. I was just saying that very talented, and now you say that he did every part of the song and everything.
Yeah.
It's just, it goes to show you this is someone that knows how to have fun in a studio, because you just pick up the different instruments, put a song together. By the end of you're just jamming with yourself, and like, great job. As I've said in the past, when I really like a song, it's hard for me to give any kind of negative feedback, because I basically get sold on it, and then I'm like I'm just like a biased supporter of.
Oh
the
wow,
artist at that point.
this is nice.
I love this song. I love this. Great job. You're one of my favorite artists, producers in here. So I'll maybe Blay have a little more critique for you.
I'm gonna rip you to shreds. No, no, I really like this one. I really liked it. I really liked it. I loved your sax solo. That was really nice. Well, you're obviously saxophone playing. Liked it a lot. You're still working on your tone and everything, and just a couple of things, that one like resonance sort of spot, stuff like that. I don't have the proper terms. I don't know the proper terms as per usual, but who cares? No, I think you're actually sort of on the verge of developing your own sort of personality on the saxophone. Like it's still a bit straight and a bit stiff in certain parts, but I think you're really losing a lot of that, and you're really sort of letting go and doing this really with more feel, which I think is really nice. You can hear it. There are some sections in this where it's really, this is perfect. There are sections in this where I'd say it's really perfect and really good. So yeah, I mean that's just, you're constantly learning, constantly improving on that. But it's really nice to hear you developing that and exploring more with that. Even though I think it's you didn't you're not playing for super long. I believe, but I'm not sure if I remember that correctly. But yeah. I'd work on the strings. They sound compared to, obviously you have the really nice saxophone and everything, which sounds nice. The piano sounds nice, and the bass too. I think it's lacking the most.
I love the bass.
Yeah, I think it's lacking the most though with the strings. They're the part that seems the most MIDI about it all, and especially clashes with the saxophone, which obviously feels supernatural because obviously it is natural, So I'd put a lot of focus on the strings because the bass is fine, the drums are fine, piano is fine, but the strings they do clash. So I'd work on those. I think I told you how I do it a couple of times, which is basically edit every single note and basically think of them as individual voices or individual groups of players playing them. So how would they move? Where would they go? And sort of offset that. Work off grid in your DAW, so to say. So in your DAW where you have your bar lines and stuff like that, your lines for the beats. Don't stick to them. So move over them and sort of blend things into another. Obviously, this is something where you'll also benefit a lot from better samples, basically. Though you can really do and achieve a lot with these sort of cheaper plugins and libraries if you put in enough effort, enough work. I think the chords and the strings is I think they even work fine for the most part. But I think what really sticks out is the pizzicato strings. They're panned really hard to the left. I even asked you if that was intended earlier when we talked about some issues with the file. It wasn't an issue, but I think you sent the wrong file, so we updated it. So maybe that maybe those if you don't pan them so hard and sort of not hide them, but leave them, put them a little more in the back, just a little bit. That might improve as well. But with a pizzicato especially, it really adds a lot of realism and like a human factor if you separate those notes when they're playing together, so they feel a bit more not like a machine on time, so they'll still be on time, obviously, but you'll have that more spread out, wider feel of when they're playing it, basically, which always adds a lot. So instead of, it's the same thing I do with piano as well. If a piano plays a chord, I don't have them all perfectly aligned on the bar, but I sort of spread it around, like how I'd lots of there's always, it's physics, it's never perfect, and you can't sort of simulate that. Don't do too much, because then it'll sound off and like, oh, they suck, but just do that little bit enough so it sounds more full, especially with piano. Try it with piano. Make a really huge chord, I don't know, with like 5 or 6 or 7 notes, and play them all at once, and it sounds super unnatural, and there's weird frequency overlapping. But then spread them out a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, like a millimeter on the screen, like a pixel, and it'll sound much fuller and nicer and more natural. It's a really nice effect, and it helps a lot with humanizing and that sort of stuff. That's something I pay a lot of attention to, and I go in and edit every single note, the position, the in and out points, the velocity. You can get so lost in that, but it's worth it. Not too much, but it's worth it.
For sure.
Yeah. But no, I really liked it a lot. I like the sax, like the piano. The piano sounds really nice. Yeah. Oh, I do a little bit more with the drums. Maybe a drum solo at some point, or more in the background. So just give it a bit more to do. Give everyone more to do. I think what helps me is, even with big orchestral pieces, I like to think from the perspective of each individual player or a section, and think, would I be bored if I had to play this? So I'm just sort of thinking from the perspective of each chair, basically. What am I playing? And is it enough? Do I want to do more? Or could I go with this? That sort of helps sometimes. If you're worried that maybe some parts could be a bit lacking. I don't know. Experiment. But right. Yeah, really nice. Radium.
Another short feedback from me. First of all, if that's the work in the progress, I wonder what the full track will be, because it's going towards the right direction. The melody, gold, saxophone playing felt dry, but I think it's because it's still unmixed. But the saxophone itself.
Yeah, a little bit of reverb would be nice.
Yeah, but no, still gold. Piano, gold. I don't have much to say. I'm just excited to hear the full track. Dude, you got like a lot of talent. A side note I want to mention, don't be scared to give the strings their own little jazz thing. Like, you can do a lot with strings that isn't just background fillers. Like, there was a moment where it's just like the strings, like no piano, no saxophone. Like, I was expecting the strings to do something. Like, you can use violins and stuff like that to add into your track. So definitely use it. So that's all.
For sure. All right. Yeah. Thanks as always for submitting and letting us listen to your music, Miro. It was a really good track and really enjoyed it. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Cool.
Our
Alrighty.
first submission from this week.
People are like, what?
Yes. Yeah, so these were all the ones that we moved onto today from last week because we couldn't fit them in, or we want to be fair because we promised. Anyway, first submission from today for today's stream is Invention number 1 in C minor opus 13, a shortened version by Baroque for Days. Have fun. All right. The Invention number 1 in C minor by Opus 13, shortened version by Baroque for Days.
Nice.
Awesome. What do you guys think? Who wants to talk first?
I loved it. Haven't heard one from Baroque for Days in a while, so that was definitely a treat. And I can honestly say it was probably one of my favorites that I've heard. I mean, outside of judging it on the fact that it was just one instrument the whole time, because like a solo, I guess, player or whatever, is appropriate for the genre that he makes and the style he does or whatever. You set that aside because
Piece
that's supposed to.
Harpsichord. Yeah.
What was it?
A piece for harpsichord.
Harpsichord?
It's a solo piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I loved it. I mean, I pictured myself playing it the whole time. Like I was sitting there playing it. I was really into it. But it was like that. Like that aside, like I said, this is one of my favorite ones I heard from you. I really love like the. I mean, I don't know the terminology to use for any of this stuff, but just the way, like the little like what is it? I don't know what you would call that, but like the way they notes just played. Yeah, like
trill or mordent.
Yeah, trill and stuff like that. I just loved it. I loved it. Baroque, really good job on the composition of it. What I really liked is towards the end, it just started taking you, and you kept thinking it was dumb. But then it was like, oh wait, we're gonna go over here for a little bit, and then we're gonna take you down to this part. And then I had the ending of the classic composer where he's just almost like so into his song. At the end of the song, it's just like, I don't know, he's almost going quote unquote crazy with it, like down. It's again, it's kind of. But then you ended it so nicely, like you do. I liked it. I loved it. I would say, and I've said this many times in the past, and many people have said this to you about your music and the way you compose it. To hear this played by an actual musician would be a treat, also, because we'd hear like the accidents and all the humanizing. But so I'm always I can put my interpretation of it, and when I listen to your music, I know that it could be played. I can predict, I can imagine it in that element and stuff, and
yeah, totally.
You're just composing it.
It needs to be played.
Yeah. But that's nothing on your part because you're writing it, you're composing it, and stuff like that. So great job on what you did here, and if you ever learn to play like that, make a video and show. That'd be some impressive stuff. That is awesome. I loved it. So yeah, I mean, what do you think, Blake?
Yeah. Oh, I really liked it. Like I already said. Oh yeah, really great improvement from where we sort of I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say in terms of where I've sort of been on the community, but a great improvement from what we've sort of all remembered from you on MPA, at least, because I heard a couple of other things by you in between part moments and stuff. But this is really, really solid, really solid. There isn't really anything I can really talk about. It's solid through and through. I think this should be played. Needs to be performed. Basically, what you have to do is finish a notation. Any sort of like mistakes, have someone else look over it. You can send it to me. You can probably maybe send it to Miro. He might be able, if he wants to, if he's able to, might be able to help you with just having some more eyes look over it and check if the score is all right, if there's any like engraving issues, anything weird kind of going on, I'll gladly take a look at that as well, because in terms of engraving, I did learn a lot. Still suck at reading sheet music, but getting better at making it. Writing it was fucking weird, but who cares? But get it published, and I'll talk to you about that as well, because there are many options, and I think there's one that's probably gonna be the most promising. Anyway, this needs to be performed. It's a really nice piece. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Needs to be performed. Has to be performed. Really nicely done. Radium.
Oh, okay. I thought my Wi-Fi died for a moment.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
That's why it was silenced. And I was like, what's going on? Okay. Short feedback again. Barack, I love you. You're my friend, dude. But I spent the entire track imagining someone remixing it with a trap beat.
I would definitely love to turn this into a sample pack. But
I don't know why. It just, I don't know. There was something about it that just worked. I was thinking, just put like a.
Blaze Soul's like, wait, no, like, what? Please, come on.
I just thought it would work. I was like, someone's good.
That's a unique. That's a fresh idea, though. That harpsichord trap beat. Come on now.
Yeah, there was so many things about the track that I felt my head was like that would work. Like I can see it. I'm gonna manifest it now. I want it. Okay. Anyway, honestly, I don't have much feedback. I just liked the track. I like the way you produce baroque music. And it's actually my favorite period in classical music. And that even back when I played the violin, I like playing it, and not just because it was a little bit easier. But yeah, I like it. I think you know what you're doing, and it shows in your music. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but all I can say as a listener, I liked it. Especially the end. The end felt like a troll a little bit. It's like, when will the beat drop? And then it dropped. Okay, so yeah, I liked it. Good job.
Yes, awesome.
And thanks for submitting.
Yes. It was a
Barack.
treat to listen to. Really nice. Yeah, you learned a lot. Awesome. Really nice. It's so nice to see this and to hear it, and it's just awesome. Can't wait for the CD by some, I don't know, a pianist or harpsichordist. Now I'm embarrassing myself. Anyway, let's move on. Oh god, no, I love harpsichord. I talked with Baroque for a while, when he was considering to submit it to the feedback stream, if he should send us the piano or the harpsichord version, and I think it was a good decision to send the harpsichord version, because it really feels in tune with the style of music, obviously. And also what it helps with a lot is, since harpsichord doesn't care about dynamics, it helps with the human factor. Because this sounds really good as it is. Of course, it's always nice if musicians interpret your music and stuff, you know. It's always something, that's just different, But with piano, it's a lot more apparent, I feel like, with digital production kind of thing, But yeah, no, really, really awesome. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Not to interrupt anything or whatever, but looking at the time, we should probably got a couple more tracks to go through, to try and go through. So the next track is going to be a Smokey Work in Progress by Shay or Shadow. That's not me asking a question. That's what was submitted as the name by Shay or Shadow. Here we go. Smokey Work in Progress. Shay or Shadow. Said it already. Have fun. All right, that was Smokey, a work in progress. Progress. Damn it. By Shay or Shadow. Oh, I wrote it wrong in the showcase player. Hold on a second. I'm gonna fix that right now because that's supposed to say Shadow, not Show. Okay, here we go. It's
Nice.
it's fixed
Yeah.
now. Yes, Smokey, work in progress by Shay or Shadow. Yes, who wants to talk first? Gil, do you want to say something? Because Radium's typing.
Oh, you're fine. She's fine. I would say I like the idea, and so much of the idea is not even complete either. It's not a complete thought. I would not call this a complete thought. I would call it some good chords because there's some emotion there. It makes you kind of want to sing. Makes you feel like something's about to happen or something just did happen, or maybe like there is something there for sure, but it's just so simple. I mean, it's like I was mentioning, there's really no syncopation. It's all just straight down, be like dun 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 dun, dun the whole time with pretty much everything, which adds a nice element, but not the whole time. Almost like one of the syncopated melody or something to come on top of it and like play around with like the 8th and the 16th notes and stuff like that a little bit more. But so it was just a nice idea. But then it was also seemed to be missing a lot of the elements of a track. Like I would say the drums were kind of lacking, and I could picture really really reverbed out drums. I mean, not too much, but I could picture like some really like big drums, like some dramatic drums that kind of like to add to it. What I'm saying is this could be an anthem track, but it's still so early in that, early in that. So it is a whip work in progress, which is good, like we were saying earlier. Like, so that's good. So now you could maybe it's a direction you could take it, but it seems like an anthem song for sure to me, but it's just missing a lot of those elements that would like actually make it an anthem. I don't know. What do you think, Blake?
Yeah, well, I agree that it has some nice ideas. How it's introduced, stuff like that, But yeah, first I want to mention, because I just said it at the end of Baroque for Days submission at the end of his piece. How I suggested to go with the harpsichord version because really that's not so apparent in terms of humanizing as like a piano, because one big part is sort of doesn't matter with harpsichord, which is the velocity.
Right.
So the hardness of how you hit how you press down the key, basically, how you stroke the strings in the piano, So basically the dynamics. This is a good example for how careful you need to work with a piano sound, because like right at the beginning, you could hear a piano with that repeating note, which unfortunately was the same note as well. So you really heard the sort of, it wasn't a machine gun effect, which is what we usually refer to in this with like electronic music is something people usually refer to, the machine gun effect, which is if the same thing repeated, like a sounds exactly the same every time. I can't even do it because I'm a human. I'm not a robot. Right. Trust me, I'm not a robot. No, but this is something you need to work on. So you need to work on the humanization. I mean, this is a bit nitpicky, but it's really apparent that it's unnatural. That it's not a real piano, or even just a digital piano. It's not played, it's not performed. It's just MIDI programming, which is it's fine, But I think you're aiming for like a piano sound, obviously, and like piano is a real instrument, So why not humanize it, So shift around the notes just a little bit, not moving
shift
them
around the notes
off
a little bit.
Yeah,
velocity,
not moving them off. Not to move them off beat. But just ever so slightly to sort of not make it feel so stiff and unnatural. And especially, the most important thing is the dynamics. So the velocity control, which you're using FL Studio, the notes that it's a work in progress. They're using FL Studio. So I use FL Studio too. It's a great piece of software, I think, especially for MIDI editing. So basically, if you grab the note and hold down your Alt key on the keyboard, you get to move the note basically precision move it off grid. So then you'll be able to shift those notes around a little bit. And at the bottom of your piano roll, like that's in the piano roll. At the bottom of the piano roll, you have those little flag kind of things. Those are green sticks for representing the velocity of each note, which there you can basically draw in and change the values for those individual notes, which is really important when you're working with piano. That's for one, obviously, for conveying sort of idea of dynamics. Where do you want to get louder and then go quieter again? That's something you can control with those, and you should really do that because it makes, first of all, helps telling the story a lot better, and it adds to the human feel. Of course, the reason why you would want that obviously is not just like a gimmick. But more importantly, there's always an idea or a story that you're trying to tell with music. Or let's say you should be, probably, and in order to tell that, you're going to have... It's not... no story is just straightforward and stiff and mechanical. So, obviously, that's what... where interpretation is so important, or like a human interpretation is so important, because there you're going to get all the emotion, besides obviously the composition itself, the melody, the harmony. How you play it it's a major factor that adds to how it's perceived, what emotion is conveyed, so that's something to pay attention to. I got stuck on that topic for a little bit too long, but yeah, another thing, the standard, the stock FL drum samples, they can work sometimes, but I think in this case, how they're used so simplistic, they do sound a bit cheap. So maybe if you modify them, or if you use some of the other sounds that aren't at the top of the list in your packs in FL Studio, just maybe get a bit more creative with the sound design overall. And then a couple of things I was confused about. In the middle, and like I think two times, the track seems to just sort of start over again. So like there's like a build up, and then it drops down, and then it just starts over again. It's a bit weird. I don't really know what's going on, but to me it seems like there's some major parts missing. So you have the sort of bass core blank canvas again, like we had with one of the earlier submissions. I think it was 18 by Rubaren. It's the same sort of thing. You have a blank canvas, which you still need to work on. It's still missing. You prepared the canvas. You put your foundation on the canvas. Maybe like in a Bob Ross video, you added the sky in a bit, and like some of the like basic gradients, But now it's missing all the detail. Now it's missing a full picture. Is there going to be a mountain? Is there going to be a house? Is there going to be trees, like sun rays and stuff like that? You need to add all that. You need to paint the picture. You need to tell the story, That's missing right now. So the track is called Smokey, which I don't really see the relation to, but maybe you can add that. Because right now it's missing that. It's an empty, prepared canvas. You have the foundation. You have some of the gradients. Now add the trees. Add the landscape. Add the nature, Yeah, that's what this needs mostly, beside all the humanizing and whatever bullshit. That's the major part that it's lacking, that's missing. It needs the full picture. Yeah, but nice ideas. A good, ready and prepared canvas. Now it's time for you to go out there and paint the picture. I don't know.
Go out there.
But we still have to listen to Radium.
Shay or Shadow you can be.
Yeah.
Yes, Radium feedback.
Yeah.
We await.
I think Radium was finished. Oh, she's not now.
No, she's
not unmuted yet.
I'm not done, but time is running, so I'm gonna have to
improvise at the end. Yes.
Yeah, no choice.
It'll be fine. Well, shut up, make quiet. Gil, mute yourself. Let's listen to Radium.
All right. Shay or Shadow, I don't know, figure out your name, but you're so blessed that it's a work in progress. Like, let me just put that on the table right here. You're lucky that you can say, hold up, it's a work in progress. Like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I want to give you the positives about it.
Oh no.
She's got some good stuff to say.
Yes, just someone. Wasn't us this time. Wasn't us. We didn't interrupt Radium this time. Just wanna put that out
Sorry.
there for.
Sorry. Now there's just me randomly screaming into my mic. Great. This is also. I'm not embarrassed at all.
Oh, you're fine.
Moving on. I'm just gonna go back at the beginning of my paragraph. Yeah, I want to give you the positives of your track, but I feel like it's not useful other than just me giving you again, be like, it's okay, for stroking your ego. Like, I don't see the point of just saying positive thing to begin with. I feel like I'm just gonna fill in time. So just know as I speak, I'm not saying your track is bad. I mean, it's decent. It just needs work, you know. Besides, you're here for that. You're here for feedback, and it's a work in progress. Okay, so fuck the positives. Let's get on to what's important, and we're gonna go piece by piece. A, your track is a fucking bubble child. Like, you wrapped it in bubble wrap, and it's never seen the sun in its existence. Like, I feel like I can take each part of your track, cut it directly in FL Studio, and then just rearrange everything. That means it's following a template. That means it's going exactly where everyone goes, and that's an issue. I don't know if you're a beginner or not, but I'm telling you now, work on avoiding that. I feel like someone listening shouldn't be able to completely deconstruct your track and just rearrange it randomly, because that means it's repetitive. Speaking of repetitive, wow, your track is repetitive. Like, at this point, it's not even just repetitive. It's like it's a big copy paste thing. Like, you started with the basics. Like, it's like, you know, when I say you're following a template, it's the perfect example of following a template. It's like you had a checklist and you're like, okay, intro, boom. Okay, verse, boom. Chorus, boom. And then you took that and you copy pasted it. Like, it's a new level of being repetitive. Like, it's doing half the work and then control B basically on FL Studio.
I was like, or Control D on Ableton.
Exactly. I don't know what you use.
And I'm not even an Ableton user. I just defend my Ableton brothers out there. All right. You go.
Okay.
Sorry, Radio. Go ahead.
See, I'll be honest with you, my friend. The piano. Find something else. Limit its appearance in your track. Just, I don't know, get rid of it. Do something with it. Like, or, you know, human, as the other said, humanize it. But like, it needs to be humanized. It's not even an AI at this point. It's a robot that's lagging. Especially when the notes were repeating. Like, wow, humanize that piano. Give that piano some emotions, you know, because it really.
Give it some love.
Yeah, I think also an issue with the piano is that not only does it sound super fake, it clashes. To me, I feel like it clashes with the rest of this instrument and sound designs you have. Like, I feel like it just doesn't fit. It's like you needed an instrument, or I don't know, you needed something and you chose like a basic piano because you can do a lot with a piano, but you should have removed it. You should have changed it. It doesn't work. And D, which I didn't complete, so I'm just gonna go for it. I don't know, experience with sound design, as the other said. I didn't really notice except for the piano, but I feel like they're very basic instruments. Everything is very basic when it comes to sound. It's not very special. It doesn't really stand out. And if I had to use this and summarize everything I'm saying, it's disappointing in the sense that I don't know if you're a beginner or not, but your track it's basic, it's simple, it doesn't go anywhere because there's nothing about it that would allow it to go anywhere. It's really, oh Lord, how can I be nice? It's really, it's a basic track. It's a track with no salt on it. I don't know. You see, this is why
No.
I write down my
That's
feedback.
okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, but yeah,
but I think it's a work in progress. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's like,
yeah.
what direction are you going to take this?
It's the
unseasoned blank
canvas. You just need to paint the full picture. Yeah.
You're so
Right,
lucky
right.
it's a work in progress because I would be so much harder. Sure, like I'm not even that good.
Yeah.
at producing
No, but
myself.
it's good.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's good that we're bringing up these points because I think that's the best way to work on those things. Like we're not being hostile here. We're saying the things that obviously not everyone wants to hear all the time. Like, you know, it's obviously easier to just have people say, "Oh yeah, that's nice. We like that," you know. But we're being honest and we're telling you these are the things you should improve and this is something to think about. So now it's your turn to
There's some
take that
sound design
advice
sessions.
and yeah,
Shay,
to take that advice or to just basically
yeah.
think about what you have here and what you could do with it. But I think it's important to hear that honest feedback every now and then because really everything else is just, you know, you're lying to yourself if you never listen to the harsh feedback, you know, because you need that. It's the best way to improve. You also should be really critical of your own work yourself. So really try to pick up on things that you don't like and improve those for the next thing. You know, that's the best way to improve. And then of course, getting honest feedback like this is something that I think can be a good eye opener to like the major things that are wrong with something you've worked on and maybe something you're really happy with and stuff, you know. But again, it's a work in progress. So I think you have the perfect opportunity to take this and to really do something with this, make it something really special. And I'd love to hear this when you're done with it on another Feedback Friday stream whenever it's ready, you know. I'd love to hear it, and we then I think I'd be excited to hear what you do with it basically, because right now it's I'm waiting for the painting. Yes.
All right. I agree. Very nice, and thanks for submitting. You choose. Do you want to be called Shay or Shadow? It's your choice. Shay or Shadow. Shall we move on? Shall I get one more track in here?
Yeah, I think we can do one more track. All right. The next track is Semaphores. Semaphores by Junah. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. It should be Semaphores. Anyway, Junah, have fun.
Every blow is like it's a soul where I find hope. I want us to know he takes the right road. I heard the lies of Semaphores. Who are the lies so good? I know where to go. I hope it's not the wrong road. I'm tired of only fighting wrongs where I was shot to see shine gold. Wind will blow and take me to the right road. I cannot reach every time my voice 3 times to Semaphores, like a sheep, I want to talk on the floor. I hope it's not the wrong road. I'm tired of meeting with my dogs, but it's a soul where I find hope. I want us to know he takes the right road. I heard the lies of Semaphores, and like a sheep I want to talk. Where to go? I hope it's not the wrong road. I'm tired of only fighting wrongs where I was shot to see shine gold. Wind will blow.
All right, that was Semaphores by Junah. Yes, really nice work, and I'm gonna use the opportunity of being the one who's always leading back into the talking, and I'm gonna start this time because we're already seeing it.
Let's start with Blahub.
Yes, we're already seeing it in the chat, and I agree. It's the first thing on my list of notes. Add reverb. This needs reverb. It's too dry. It's way too dry. First of all, I love this song. Really nice work. Really interesting. Really lovely, nice sound. Really nice. It needs reverb. It needs this dreamy, wide feel. You know, it needs that.
The right
it's
reverb,
gonna
not
sound,
just any reverb.
It's gonna sound
right reverb.
awesome with your voice. It's gonna sound awesome. I would even go as far as to recommend using a convolution reverb for this to really have a really high quality reverb on this, you know.
Right.
if you want to look into that and if you can afford a bit of money.
So you'd be
Can afford to
experimenting
spend a
with
bit
the
of
right
money.
reverb and
Yeah,
really
yeah,
testing reverbs. Much like testing a good mic, you'd be testing
yeah,
reverbs.
yeah.
Find the right one that works with your
Yeah.
voice.
I'd go with quite a long tail on this one as well. Like a pretty, not too long, but I can totally see a rather long reverb. But if you can afford to spend a bit of money on some new useful plugins, I'd really recommend to get a convolution reverb. The one which I'm using, I recommend to everyone because it's cheap compared to other convolution reverb plugins that are out there, and it has a really good high quality. It's called SIR 3 by SIR Audio Tools. Just look for that, SIR Audio Tools. It's a really nice
Blake
convolution
has always
reverb.
picking up these brand deals on the side. I don't know where you're getting all these brand deals.
These other plugins I use and love. It's the sort of thing that I still need to make that master post of plugins that I wish I would have known about before I wasted money on other expensive things that turned out to be worse. Which this is one of them, because I wasted so much money on things that yeah, sure, they helped me, but I could have advanced much faster and much better with other things, and wouldn't have wasted money on stuff that turn out to be much worse than something for
Right,
either
for sure.
a bit more, maybe equal, sometimes less
Definitely
money, and that
use demos.
hurts.
I recommend
That hurts, Anyway, SIR 3, it costs like $150 or something. I don't know, 140. I don't know. Seems
Right.
expensive. It's not. It's not expensive for convolution
Right.
reverb
I
at
mean,
all.
it's do go look for a reverb. I'm not saying that you got to go spend $150 to make
No,
this track.
no, you don't.
what it
No,
needs
that's
to
not.
be.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not
But,
at all. That's not at all what I'm saying. No,
Right,
no,
right,
no.
right,
Don't get me
right.
wrong. That's just my recommendation.
I wasn't trying to say you were saying that, but I don't want to kill the momentum. But this track was probably my favorite track of the night. I'm going to go and say it because of the style. The style was. I loved your voice. I love the style of this song. And I'll let you finish, Blade, but I'd almost say, yeah, I wasn't even thinking reverb, but when y'all said reverb, yeah, that would just have taken it to the next level.
It's awesome how
sure.
it is already, but if you add that last thing, it's honestly like the last 4 or 5% of the thing, bit of work on the master, maybe just a little bit of reverb, EQ on the vocals maybe, and then reverb to kick things off. It's gonna tie everything together, and it's gonna
automated reverb
finished.
if you really want to.
It's finished. Oh, I wouldn't do that. No.
Yeah.
Just get a decent convolution, get decent convolution reverb on it, or just any plugin you got, any reverb thing. Get a nice reverb sound, nice sounding reverb on this. It's gonna be awesome, sort of like medium-ish long reverb tails, No, it's just make it so much.
Yeah, you can just
that's gonna
experiment-
make it pop.
experiment
That's
around.
gonna
But,
experiment around. But
I mean,
as far as
I
as far as the music itself goes, it's awesome. I
love
pretty much everything
it was
about it. It just really needs this last final finishing touches. Really nice.
Agreed.
Really nice work.
Agreed. Now there was 100%. I think this is the first track I made heard from this artist. I would say that if I was to hear this beat by itself without the vocals, I would have probably been a little more critical. It was not the beat worked. The beat at this point is perfect enough for me because of the vocals. It's one of those genres where the vocals makes the whole song. I mean, the beat still has to be good, but what I'm saying is the beat doesn't have to be the show. It doesn't have to be like I listen to electronic dance and bass music, so the beat is the front of the show. But with a good vocalist, that stuff is like, okay, wait, get out of the way of the vocals. Like it can be kind of in the back. It can be a little weaker. It can be a little whatever, maybe a little more simpler, even with the melody, because the vocal is just controlling the whole song. And with such a unique voice, because it wasn't just a good song. I mean, it was a unique voice. You had a unique voice, and it was a great melody. It was just a great song. So the voice, to me, made this whole song to the point where I was like, the beat can stay. It's whatever. It is what it is. But if you want to take that feedback back to the studio and say, okay, well, I want my beats to be better. Yeah, I think the beat itself could have been a little bit more interesting. But it doesn't need it. Doesn't need it because the vocals are so well done. So I'm mainly complimenting your vocals with a 5 out of 5, and the beat, maybe like a 3.5 or something, 4 to me. But yeah,
The thing is, with it being so simplistic, it really reminds me of, I don't know if you know this. I recently rewatched it. Twin Peaks. Is I don't know if you guys know it. It's a series about basically about a murder, but it gets really crazy. If you haven't heard of it, buy it. Buy it on DVD. Watch it. It's awesome. Really awesome. It's by David Lynch. Twin Peaks. Get it. Buy it. There's but what I'm trying to get at is in the original first two seasons, there are these bar scenes or these club scenes, and there's always like a band performing there with a singer with a really like breathy voice, and it's such a unique song. It's really unique. It's super simplistic, but it's so unique, and it adds so much to the atmosphere. And awesome music in that. This reminded me so much of that. That sort of like simplistic style with
Reminds me
those
of, like-
more breathy vocals. It had something like that put you sort of in like a trance. Transported you to a different universe kind of thing. You have to watch that series and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's awesome. It's
we'll have a
awesome.
watch party in the community, everybody, and we're gonna watch Twin Peaks together. It's gonna be awesome. Hey, I love what you said there, though. I agree. It's just like it took me to another place too. Like, and that's what it's transcending. It's kind of like the word you use, but basically, it's like, yeah, it reminds me of like almost not exactly the same vibe exactly, but it reminds me like bands like Churches and even like M83 with that song they did, Oblivion, or for the movie Oblivion. We're just endorsing movies and series and stuff left and right today. Branding. Just a really good song. Like I said, I was saying that while we were listening to it, this is a song I would put on a personal playlist. So, and I judge everything here based on just music, like how good is it in general, like no matter what genre. That's why the stuff submitted here today was really good. But I can also say this, out of all the stuff was submitted, if people are into this is my personal preference. This is like my style I would listen to. So this would go on a playlist. And it's such a good song. I would listen to this again and again and again and again and again. So, I mean, if that's ultimately what you want as an artist, right? So, you want people to listen to your songs again and again. So I would just say, I mean, I'm a fan of this song. It's a really good job. We're waiting on Radium's feedback. So give us. Tick.
Yes, Radium. What?
Radium's typing. I feel like it's gonna be good this time because Radium.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
usually gives-
I left all the feedback
few
about the
sentences.
vocals out because I know Radium's gonna say a lot about those. And
Uh,
I really don't.
yeah.
I'm really not. I'm not a vocalist. I don't know enough about vocals in any sort of series, like any useful way. But
Yeah,
Radium, she has great tips for vocalists. So.
She always seems to point out things that I don't notice until I think again. I'm like, okay, I can't. I'm a little embarrassed that I said that I liked it so much. But no, with this, for sure, like I really like it, but I don't know any technical like things to really coach you on, other than just like, it's such a unique, cool voice, and it sounded like you were on pitch and everything. But yeah, give Radium just a minute. She's typing out. She likes to type her feedback out. For those that don't know, she's an inspiring writer and she's really good at it. And I noticed that when she types her feedback out, it's you get more quality feedback from her. So we give her time. But I'll go ahead and do the notes and we'll get in this right after. So while we wait on Radium's feedback, let's just say we do this every Friday, same time. If you want to get your track on stream, you can submit your track in the community. You look for the featured post in the MPA community. It's usually a yellow featured post. It's going to say MPA Feedback 14, and it'll be a submission form. You can submit for next Friday. Tune in Monday for our battles. There's going to be a 2.0 coming soon. I've talked to a lot of people, even some just friends and close friends and families, and got some advice. And then, of course, people in the community and all this stuff. The battles, as you all know, is a big passion of mine, and I love them. I just need to find a better way to execute them. And so I'm going to come up with a more automated system. So look forward to PvP 2.0 battles. So just we'll do those on Monday, same time, 7 p.m. UTC. That's 2 p.m. Central Time in the States. So let's see here. Hip hop beat battle. You still got a few days to submit your beat to that. Use hashtag hip hop battle. Submit that in the community. You just post with a link to your song and hashtag it. Minty Miss to find it. We'll add it to all the submissions. We're going to be listening to all those on stream. So when we find out the date for that, we'll post that, and then you'll tune back into the YouTube for the. We'll listen to all the beats. Just I don't know if we'll judge them on everything or we'll just give some feedback. But so that being said, like, comment, subscribe this, and let's listen to Radium's feedback to close it out. Oh, she muted her mic again. I don't know. She killed my transition, everybody. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. These are getting more popular each week, so it's a good sign. I know we're small and humble. Oh, here she is. Radium's back.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
You
There
made
we go.
me. Okay.
I think it's like my
Radio.
longest. Oh wow. Okay. It's
Yeah.
It's like it's like my longest feedback. So I'm sorry in advance, everyone. First of all, yay! Finally, a singer. that's
it.
my
She's
one
like,
comment.
She's like,
Finally,
Oh,
singer.
gee,
Okay.
you need to improve your typing speeds.
All
all right.
no lie, my feedback is super long, but not
I'm
that
muting
long,
my
but
mic.
long. Okay. I'll divide my feedback based on 3 things: vocals, instrumentals, then the vibes of the song. I'll start with the instrumental. I always forgive when the production is very simple when it involves singers because I feel like, let's say I'm going to use like pop music as an umbrella term, the focus isn't just on the production, but on the singer, the lyrics, and the visual that comes with the track. It's like just focusing on the instrumental, in my opinion, doesn't work because there's so many variables to take into consideration when it comes to pop. So, I'll forgive the fact that this instrumental is very simple. At the same time, I think it's on purpose given the vibe of the song that I'm getting, but I'll talk about this later. The only thing that I felt would have added a little something to your song was if the instrumental followed the energy of your singing. There were moments where you were holding longer notes where the instrumental should have followed that energy, but it didn't. Maybe a side note, some of the sound design choices were a bit weird, a bit clashing sometimes, but everyone's subjective. Everyone has their own style and their own choice, so that's fine. I don't know if you produced the song yourself or not, but it's just something to consider. Now for the vocals. For the vocals themselves, I have nothing to say. I think you're a good singer, and aside from me saying, practice, exercise your voice regularly because that's what you do when you have an instrument. You practice, that's natural. That's all I could say. But at the same time, you're a very good singer. First of all, mix the vocals. Like right now, they're very dry and they feel dry, and it does your voice such a disservice because there are times where you sound underneath the beat. It's hard to hear you, and because of that, it's hard to convey emotions. And when I say mix your vocals, I mean mix your voice for you. Mix your voice the way that's gonna add something to your voice to make it sound perfect with your track. Don't just follow a template. Really learn what my vocals need to be to reach a level of perfection in your mix. And it's all individual. It all depends on the singer, your voice type, your voice range. Learn for yourself. Yes, reverb. Everyone said it, reverb. When you held that long note, I heard you go out of breath. It was very obvious near the end. I could hear you straining. Breath support is important. If you know you have a long note coming, if what you're singing before is shorter, try to take like a subtle big breath, or since it's a recording, don't be shy or afraid of doing multiple recordings, dividing your singing in pieces, and use the best result for such a situation. That's okay, especially with it not because you don't want the listener to hear you go out of breath. It takes you out. It's like you're listening and then you hear the singer struggling. Doesn't work. Not all voices do this, but I feel like vibrato would have really added a little something to your voice, especially when you add long notes. Like it would have been special. Not all singers have vibrato in their voice, and sometimes it's only when you reach a certain level in your range. Like if I take me for example, my vibrato only kicks in when I sing super high. It's not you don't need vibrato, but it's just like me, like a side note that I had it quickly. Last thing, the song itself. It's a good song, but it doesn't convey emotions from what I could hear. And it's kind of sad because I feel like there's really the opportunity for your voice, the lyrics, and the instrumental to lead the listener on an emotional journey. But that's just that. But it's a good song. It needs a few tweaks. I don't want to give you too much what you could have added because I think like it's subjective and I don't know where you want the song to go. So just mix the vocals, reverb, breath support, and that's a good song overall. So that was it for my very lengthy feedback of this week.
Solid feedback though. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
really solid.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I love how and Blade does this too. And forgive me for not seeing y'all. I just love music, and I've said this, and I see songs, but like I love it when y'all describe it and how you were describing how it could be even better, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's so right, because like those extra little details. Even though I love you, like I said, I love the voice so much. When you mentioned like that, like even when you said like, oh, it's lacking some emotion that I could really, I was like, you know what, you're right. It's like I could see a more seasoned version of this artist and talking to you as where you learn all that just through experience, and then you're looking back, you're like, oh wow, that's what's an experience. So it's like you already got the magic, you just gotta like get experience with it and use it, practice and practice and practice and practice, and you're gonna add that extra level emotion. It's like I would say like some of the stronger, like, and this is an extreme difference, but some people that are known for their voice, like Janis Joplin, something like that, they have that unique voice, so then all of a sudden they have the ability to like really take you on an emotional ride and stuff. And so when you have, or Bjork, or anyone with a really unique voice, or Ellie Goulding, or anything like that, you get to play with that voice. People just want to hear your voice, and you get to play with it all, do all kinds of tricks with it, and make many, many, many songs with it because you have a unique voice. So that's really cool. All right, I already did the news.
Yeah.
And
I just remembered I had one thing left on my notes for Junah.
Oh, sorry. Go for it. Sorry.
Which is also because I was closing the notes, but then I said, oh, wait, I forgot about that. There was one idea I had for something you could add in terms of composition. I would have loved if the second time around you had another melody in an instrument, like in the instrument, a melody in the instrumental, sort of dancing with your vocals, or sort of like working with it, moving with it. I think something like that could catapult it as well to another level.
The beat would have played with the vocals more. I think Radium even mentioned that too. Yeah. The beat itself could have. Well, I didn't mean that. No. Oh, I say beat. I mean instrumental. When I say beat, it comes from like the hip hop world where you just say the beat. I need a beat. It is the instrumental is what I mean by that. So sorry, but yeah, I agree that somewhere in the instrumental, the music could have complemented the vocals and added to, like you were saying, to play around with it.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks everybody. Thanks PlayHub for streaming this as always.
Yes.
You do a great job.
One quick announcement for how we're gonna do this, because we're missing a bunch of people from today's submissions. So what we're gonna do from now on, basically, is going to be we're going to use the system that we wanted to implement from the first time, which we couldn't do then because we didn't get enough submissions. Since now we're at the point where we have so many submissions that we can't fit them on stream, we're going to start to implement those slowly. So basically what this is going to look like is if you submit, there's going to be a chance that you'll be on stream, which basically is going to be first come, first serve. So if you submit on Monday, you're going to be first. If someone submits on Friday, they might not make it onto the stream, depending on how many submissions we get, of course. So basically, the feedback stream is going to be a bit like a battle to get on, but there are certainly times where you're guaranteed to be on if you're early enough. That said, though, we want to make this fair for everyone, so we'll put people on a cooldown. So if you've submitted to this week's Feedback Friday and you've been on the stream, then resubmitting again next week won't do you much because we'll not pay you because we want to prioritize people who haven't been on yet. If, for example, we have a day where we only get like 5 submissions in, then of course we'll put you on again outside of that rule. But just so you know, people will be put on a cooldown so we can fit more people in that haven't been on stream yet. So that's going to be a 1 week cooldown. So you submit in 1 week, you make it on stream. The next week you're on a cooldown, and then the next week you can submit again. So this is going to make it a bit more competitive to get on stream. But yeah, that's just going to make it fair for everyone. And people also have to resubmit. So basically, when you didn't make it on stream today, like for example, Emerald, he would have been next now. He's not going to be automatically moved to next week, but he can now resubmit this track as soon as the next feedback stream form goes live, or submit something else because maybe he's got something new already or something like that, you know. But basically, that's how it's going to be because we got a lot of submissions.
Yeah, and we're gonna tinker with this until we get it just right. But yeah, that's what we got in mind. So, and we're just trying to keep it fair. So, all right. That being said, let's get that new form posted. Just keep your push notifications turned on if you want to get that, you know, first come first serve kind of thing. And then again, if we see that you're never getting on and you're trying every week, we'll make it fair. We'll make sure everyone gets their chance. So, all right, this has been fun. Thanks everyone for joining us. Tune back in next Friday for the next feedback stream. And see you back in the community.
Bye.
Bye.